Hey there, I'm Kevin.
And I'm Jamie, and we're your co-hosts for Two Clicks in a Pod.
Join us as we explore our missed times, stories, and memories due to divorce and a 1,000-mile separation.
I can't wait. You ready to get into it, Kev?
I am. Hey, Jamie, you think they're going to swear?
Oh, yeah. Consider yourselves warned. All right, I wanted to play this for you real quick. Are you ready? I hope you can hear it.
I'm ready. I can hear it.
I would sing right now, Dad, but I'm sick, so I don't want to scare everybody off. Do you like that?
I do. I like that song.
We're reunited, Padre. Hi.
Mm-hmm. Reunited. That's right. Hello.
That's why I was playing it. Reunited. And it feels so good. It feels so good.
How many weeks have it been? 2 weeks?
Well,
or 3 weeks?
I think it's been 3 weeks.
Yep, it has been. Because I was gone for 2 weeks, 2 Mondays.
Welcome back to the good old US of A, Dad.
Yep, it's always good to come back. Always good. That's the longest we've ever been down there, but it was good times.
You had
actually...
Go ahead.
And actually, good times and in even a better way. I mean, just didn't get all silly and crazy, but had some good nights out and met some new friends and all kinds of stories there. But came back, was a little worried.
So real quick, just a reminder, you were in Cabo San Lucas.
Cabo San Lucas, party town.
For 2 weeks.
Yes, 5th through the 19th. Came back Saturday, late at night.
You had some beverages, though, right? Adult beverages. Obviously, you drank.
I drank. Kind of first week, I was a little being on my plan, still on my plan, how I was going to function with that. But Holly and Greg were there the first few days.
That's right.
Which we've mentioned Holly many, many times, I believe, on our podcast. She keeps telling me.
Pod.
She keeps telling me she's going to have to learn to endorse us and send us a check with as many times as we mention Holly.
29 West Ridge Road, Media, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Accepting all sponsorships. That's great.
Anyway, first week was kind of mellow, but stayed on my meal plan a little bit by the first few days. I.e. eating the right things, had some good times in town, and yet still was able to eat fish and still be somewhat on my plan. I didn't overeat or didn't overindulge. So anyway, after 14 days, second week was a little harder on the drinking and more beverages in repetition, and really ate even better, but I was in the gym every day. So
making up for the beverages.
Yep. So
what was your beverage of choice there?
Well,
Cerveza?
No, I tried to stay off the cerveza. Actually, there was a couple of days where I had a bucket of beers, which was 4 beers. That Pacifico Light, which is like drinking water, but
I like Pacifico though. That's a good beer.
Yeah, good Pacifico light. Regular is good, but the light's okay.
You went light.
Mm-hmm. You can drink that all day and not catch a buzz. So, but that's kind of the way the whole week and the 2 weeks were, is more of in a elated state versus just a silly state, which, you know me, I like getting silly, but
not a stupor. So, you were elated, not stooped.
That's right. I was in control.
That's good. That's not a bad thing.
No, and I was very happy. In the middle of the first week, I worked out maybe 3 days of that week, not very many, just more managed my control of my food intake and never was hungry. They had a blender, so I made spinach. We went to Walmart and I bought spinach and for the protein shakes. So those were I love those shakes, by the way. So that was good. Anyway, I came back and I was 1.4 pounds heavier than when I left.
Dad, that's impressive. Like,
I'm telling you, that was a win-win.
Impressive. Yeah.
I know.
And that could have just been like water weight retained from, I like to think this, being in the air, the airplane. I think you swell. I think everything kind of retains when you're flying. Go
Yeah.
with it. Just go with it.
Yep. So
That's
anyway,
great.
that I was happy about that. I only weighed once down there in the first week and didn't bother weighing until I got home. So
So, that's amazing. Question, sidebar. How many days do you have left of the 90 days?
I'm into my fourth week. So I put it on hold for the 2 weeks I was gone, even though Dylan, my coach, was nice enough to send me a weight program since I had a gym to work in. So
That's cool.
that was cool. And of course, with Joe and Tammy being there on the second week, they were in the gym every day. So it
I
made me adhere to that. And I really, the first week was harder because just didn't really have the same push.
I saw
But
the pictures, and they are still, even in their older years, not that they're old, don't be offended,
62,
Joe
62.
and Tammy, if you're listeners, but
Mm-hmm.
man, they are still like jacked.
Oh
Joe is
yeah.
still jacked, so I'm sure they were in the gym. They look great.
Yep. And Tammy's done a lot of work on herself with her. She's in a more more fit mode than she was when I knew them younger. So
Yeah, no,
they have
she looked strong, not
very
skinny.
strong.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
she looked very strong. So I saw that was
Powerful.
fun to see those pictures. Speaking of gyms, I joined a new gym,
Oh,
G Fit Women Media.
oh man. Okay.
Loving it. Loving it. It's all like hit weight based training. So
Mm-hmm.
you go in, it's a new workout every day, and they've got it on the board. So you see like what you're doing. You grab your own weights, you get yourself set up, and then workouts are anywhere from like 35 to 40 minutes. So you're in and out, like you're there on a lunch hour, there and out. Played great music. I'm loving it. I'm on
Good
week.
deal.
Well, this week is getting a little rough because, as I told you, I'm a little under the weather right now, fighting off a little cold.
Yeah.
Feels a little bit more than a cold, but I'm gonna call it a cold. So
Okay.
I didn't go today because I was my body's pretty worn down and I'm not feeling great, and I'm flying to Dallas on Wednesday morning. So I'm on the 6:30 a.m. flight to Dallas Wednesday morning, and I just need to be feeling better before I put myself on an airplane. So I didn't go today, but this is my third week of being a member. So, and this is funny. I have to tell you this story. So I walk in on the first day to do my free demo class, and there's a mom there that I've met over the years. Her daughter is Reese's age, and her name is Mary. So she sees me and she's like, "Hey, are you here to check out the gym?" I'm like, "Yeah." And I said, my friend Devin, who I coach cheerleading with, she's a member. She's, got me interested in checking this out. She's like, "Oh, I think you're gonna love it." And she's like, "But just so you know, you will definitely have to wash your hair after these classes." And I started laughing. She goes, "Heard it on the podcast." I'm like, "Are you listening?" She's like, "Yeah." She's like, "I've listened to like 5 episodes. I love it." But she like right away, she's like, "But you will have to wash your hair." She goes, "Or you'll have to plant." So I had like 3 women around me and they're like, "What?" And Mary told him like, "Oh, well, Jamie's doing this podcast with her dad." And she was talking about, how how she only washes her hair once a week and thinks it through. And everyone was like, "Yes, exactly." So all these women agreed, and we're on board, Dad, with the one day a week hair washing.
That's perfect. I'm glad I called you out on it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we wouldn't have talked about it. So there you
No,
go.
exactly. So
Yep.
yeah. So yeah, I was excited to tell you that. Found that I'm really liking it, and kind of got me motivated again in the in that side of my life. So that's been good. But yeah. Well, you don't really
Awesome.
look any. I gotta say, I was thinking you were gonna look a lot tanner. Were you wearing a lot of
Oh,
sunscreen?
oh yeah. You need to see Suzanne. She's as brown as a oatmeal
Careful.
cookie. I mean, yeah,
Oatmeal cream pie.
yeah. She got mom. We were talking to mom yesterday on the phone, and Suzanne jumped on late in the call, and she said, "Oh my gosh, you got a good tan." She did. I was under the shade tent most, but out in the pool, I didn't get out of the pool much. That's where I've got to hang out. I can't hang out in a chair, so I'm moving around the pool and
Do they
meeting and
have
greeting and kind of
swim up
conducting.
bars, the pool bars?
This resort did have a swim up bar, which it
Yeah,
wasn't
I love
nearly
the swim up
as.
bar.
Yeah,
I love the swim up bar.
this was not really like it was not attractive enough to a big enough draw. It was hard to get to, and I hadn't been in this pool at the estancia in years, but it to get to the swim up bar, I mean, this pool is the deepest pool on the 3
Oh, that's odd.
resort campus. Yeah, and I mean it's right up to my nose by standing on my tippy toes and trying to get over there. So you actually have to
So
swim
you'd have to
swim
swim.
up. Yeah.
But if you still have your beverage, like you're swimming and you're doing that thing where you're like one arm paddling,
No,
with
you're
your
doing the
drink above
side
your
kick.
head. Oh,
You're doing the side kick. Yep.
I like to use the arm though, and the kick, like arm kick.
Yep. So
Wow.
it was it was a lot of fun, and met a ton of people from Texas, Arizona, California, Chicago was well represented. Story
Was it
behind that, yeah. Uh,
the Windy
we
City?
Yep, we found a couple of guys that were from California. Um, Actually, Isaiah was a huge, big, well-built sheriff. I mean, there was quite a
Police.
law enforcement representation there. His boss was there. He's getting ready to retire. Sacramento policeman, some Chicago fire department people. They were all
Wow.
hanging. We had many celebrities at the pool as well.
Who was
Um,
there?
well, getting ready to tell you. So the entire band for Sammy was staying there, and that's one of the reasons we wanted to stay at the Estancia this year. Was
Okay.
Michael Anthony was staying over there last year. I don't know if you remember the story of me meeting Michael Anthony probably 8 to 10 years ago, hanging out at the pool, and
Michael
this was
Anthony
probably
is fill in the gap. Not ready is a super fan like you.
Michael Anthony is a bass player in Van Halen originally.
Does
So
he still play with Sammy, or he just goes down there to party with Sammy?
no, he's been playing with Sammy ever since he got kicked out of Van Halen. So
I
he and
didn't know he
Sammy
got
both
kicked out of the band.
shortly after Sammy left, maybe a couple of years.
Oh,
But
he got kicked out of the band. Sammy didn't get kicked out of the band.
Sammy left the band.
Sammy left the band. He wasn't kicked out though.
Right. So Michael, the Van Halen brothers were going through a little bit of a spat with everybody, and they basically, cut Michael out of the deal. So
Got it.
kind of a bad story if anybody knows the history behind that. Left the Van Halen boys, and then Sammy's gone. That's when they brought David back. They went with Gary Cherone as the lead singer for a period of time as well. Actually, Gary before they brought Dave back. But anyway,
Anywho,
Michael was there hanging at the pool, and it turned out that this Isaiah guy that I had met on Saturday when we got there, Michael didn't show up until the following Thursday. So he wasn't there until Thursday through the weekend, but he was there. And Kenny Arnoff, who's the drummer that filled in for, was on the Chickenfoot albums, filled in for Chad Smith in that era. He was there. We saw them. He was the drummer in Nashville when we saw them come.
at Bridgestone, yeah.
So everybody that was actually around the band was staying at the resort. So
everyone except for Sammy.
everyone Vic Johnson, who is a guitar player, he was there.
Were they at the swim up bar area, or you saw them somewhere else?
No, they were at the pool. So they were
Right,
they
the
were all
swim up
hanging
bar
out.
pool, or not that?
No,
not
they
the
were
same pool.
just along the edge. You didn't meet them at the swim. It was the swim up bar pool, yes, but
That's what I'm asking. Yeah,
we had our own little clique hangout area there. So
sure. You and all the police.
yeah, the police, and then all of of Michael's Chicagoans. He grew up in Chicago until he was early high school, and then that's when he moved to LA and got involved in the
So
LA
like
crowd.
you were you hanging with him like the
Hmm.
whole time he was there?
I mean,
So
I mean, from well no, you're miles away, but
oh, but we're right here,
from
Dad. We're right here. We're
yeah,
right here.
from me to the monitor. I mean, it was we were just hanging out in the front of the pool. Michael be out hanging there on the edge in the pool with us, and I didn't really get overly zealous. I had a good conversation with him. He just got his bus. His Prevost came down from
Ooh,
Oregon, and
so
he had it totally remodeled.
so you could talk
So
coaches with him.
yeah, we talked coaches for a while. We talked. I didn't really talk any band talk. We just talked more coaches and dealing with the motor coach. And he's got the there is a bus resort or RV resort there in Vegas downtown where you can actually buy the spots. So he owns one of those spots. He's always
Mm,
traveling in his bus to Vegas. Is what if you follow him on Instagram, Graham
Graham,
Mad Anthony,
did
Baseman
he
Mad
give you
Anthony.
Instagram lessons, Dad, while you were there?
No, no, he needed to though. I still haven't. Suzanne and I have fumbled through that the entire taking all these videos and just not. I'm still going to need some coaching on how to post these freaking reels to a reel, but got a little bit more educated on it. But it's a little
Oh, you're
tough for me. I make
oh,
comments.
Dad.
I'm not sure where they're going.
Oh,
I don't like the way Facebook and Instagram crosstalk and not knowing where I am. I haven't figured that part out. I feel
well,
like I'm
when am I going to see you again? Are you coming here for Thanksgiving?
yeah, we just made arrangements to be at the lake or at Rehoboth for Thanksgiving.
Really?
Yep.
Are you interested in watching a little hockey that weekend?
I'm going to be in Rehoboth. I'm not coming into Philly.
But you could.
Well, maybe.
Bet better yet, how about New Jersey? Come on. Channel your inner Bon
What
Jovi.
is that Saturday or Saturday time frame?
So I will be yeah, Parker has a hockey tournament that weekend in New Jersey. So maybe you could bring the family. They have been wanting to watch them play. And it's a good facility. It's got a good restaurant bar area that overlooks the rinks and stuff. So it's a good place to come and watch, but I got a
That's
good
on.
hockey. That's on
That's on.
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We're there
Okay.
all weekend. No, I take it back.
Okay.
Friday, Saturday. There is nothing on Sunday.
Okay. That might work.
Yeah. So we've got that going on. I got a good Parker story for you. You ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
So we're in New Jersey playing at this rink. This was last weekend. And Parker's team, who is a 8U team, they're all 8-year-olds, was playing a 9U team. And this is definitely a competitor rink for sure. So we go in and they're playing these boys. They're all older than them. And they're doing very well. We're up like, 5-0, 5-1. We're doing really well. Well, it gets a little dirty. The older boys, you could tell on the other team were getting a little frustrated that they were
Mm-hmm.
getting handled by a bunch of 8-year-olds. So they start getting a little dirty and they're chipping at the goalie quite a bit and all this stuff. Well, we come out and I said, I'm gonna go to the bathroom real quick. And this is right when the puck's down in our zone and our goalie, Ambria, who's a girl, she's fighting off the whatever. And I'm rounding the corner on the back of the rink there. The bathroom's over here. And I hear the whistle, and then I see they're just going at it, the other team. They're still chipping at her, even past the whistle. And all of a sudden, I see Parker, who's coming from like nowhere near this play of action. And he's just coming fast. And in my mind, I'm like, why is he skating so fast? Like the whistle blew. And he takes his stick and himself, and he just cross-checks the shit out of this kid.
Oh wow.
Out of nowhere, like lays him out. And I'm like, So, and I have this old jersey of his. It has his number on it. So all on this side of the rink that I'm walking by to go to the bathroom is where the whole other team's parents are standing. And so he does this and they're like, oh my God. They're like throwing their arms. They're like, watch this kid. And here I am with like big 48 on my shirt. And I lock eyes with them. I'm like, what are you doing? And then I just keep going to the bathroom. Dad, he got a 10-minute major.
Uh-oh. and no box to go to other than just the bench, huh?
Oh no, they had boxes. Oh, he was in the box. But
he was in the box.
Well, the difference between obviously like amateur and NHL is the box is on the same side as your bench. So it's like here's the bench and the box is right next door. And I come out from the bathroom and Chris was like, oh, you missed it. I go, oh no, I didn't. He chose to do that right when I'm standing in front of the entire other team's parents. Then I come back from the bathroom and they're looking at me. I'm like, yeah, go team, go 48. And like I look up and I'm like, okay, obviously he got a penalty. He's like, James, he got a 10-minute penalty. I go, they do that in my talkie? And they're like, apparently. So
apparently.
He didn't get in any trouble. I asked him, what did coaches say? And they said, you stuck up for your goalie, Park. You did the right thing. So they didn't give him any shit. And yeah, man, it was hysterical though. I was just like, I've never seen, I mean, Parker will get chippy, you know, like if someone's coming at him, he'll start throwing bows now and stuff, but he just with force laid that kid out. It was great.
Wow.
It was great. We ended up winning that game. Actually, we won every game that weekend. So,
well, that's a good
we walked. Oh, but the parents were screaming by the end of the game. There's like one of the dads is like, because their team tripped one of our guys, and he's like, hey, you know, fucking tripped him. He's got his kid in his hand. And he's screaming. It's like, it was insane. And it was just ridiculous. It was absolutely 12 penalties that game. 12. We had 8 of them.
Wow.
8.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep. So hockey is in full force.
Yeah, hockey is in full force. We got into a number of discussions in the pool with hockey fans and, of course, baseball fans and football fans. But
yeah,
met a really nice kid that played baseball for University of South Carolina, and he and his family. Yep, he was a Gamecock. Yep. Nicest kid ever for being a 23-year-old. Very respectful.
For being a cock.
For being a cock. Yep.
Yeah.
Couldn't tell it.
Good school. Good school.
Big kid.
So, all right. So Cabo, you're back. I told you about the Big Ten. I was excited to tell you about that. I feel like we did the big Halloween haunted experience with Reese and her girl. So let me tell you about that. So there's this place here locally. It's called Bates Motel, and it's on there off of remember the street that Reese's preschool was on, that 352 there, right in Glen Mills, right? You go in by La Porta. So Reese tells me, she says, so Mom, like we made plans to take her and about 6 friends to this Bates Motel haunted experience.
So is it really named the Bates Hotel, or is it nicknamed after the true Bates Hotel or motel in the movie?
It is named.
One of the haunted movies.
It's called the Bates Motel.
Okay, because Bates Motel is I'm trying to think of that movie.
I want to say they may be the Bates family.
Okay,
like that could be it.
Are you having any remembrance of the haunted movie that had the Bates Motel in it? Or am I totally all wet
from Psycho?
Yes.
Yeah, it was an Alfred Hitchcock movie.
Yes. Okay.
Great movie. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I didn't hear any references to that, so I'm asking.
Yeah, but I think they are the Bates family, though.
Okay.
So, did you know that I am like terrified though of these haunted experiences? Are you aware of this? Okay. Yes. I don't enjoy them. So Jess says, well, I'll go. I'll help drive. And she's like, will you come? I said, all right, she says there's like this bonfire area that adults just hang out at. I said, all right, I'll go. I'll hang out with you at the bonfire. That's fine. I'm good for that. We'll take the girls. It'll be fine. So we get a group of
I
us.
got, I
There's,
got, I got to ask a question real quick though. When you say
yeah,
that you're terrified, you don't remember going in the Terror on Church Street experience when we were in Orlando visiting one time?
yes,
Okay.
yes. When I
All
almost
right.
got hit by a
All right.
car. Were you there
Yeah.
that time when I almost got hit by the
Yes.
car?
Yes.
So
Yes.
you were there for that? Oh, let's circle back to that because I told Reese about this. Oh, I hated that place. Okay, good. All right, let's circle back. All right, so we go, and I said, sure, I'll help out. I'll tag along. Well, Reese has met a new friend in middle school, and she says, Mom, I met this girl named Aubrey, and her family, they they own the Bates, like experience the Bates Motel stuff. I go, cool, that's awesome. And she said, yeah, Aubrey said to, let us know when we get there, and she may be able to move us up in line. I'm like, okay, that's awesome. So I said, good job, good networking, very good. So we take the six of them and Jess and we get there, and Reese is, texting with Aubrey. We're here, and she's asking where we're at. I said, well, tell her we're da 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 da. Well, here comes this little girl, sweet little girl, nice little girl, and she's like, well, yeah, just come with me. We're gonna go up here to the VIP. I said VIP booth, and I'm gonna get you in for VIP tickets. So you can buy your base
Mm-hmm.
ticket, then you can buy up. And VIP basically gets you to the front of the line. Well, by the time this all goes down, this line has gone from probably being a 30-minute wait to almost an hour-long wait to just get started. So it starts with a hayride that was like 30 minutes long. Then you go through a corn maze, and then it ends with the Bates Motel building. So
I hear you. I hear you. I'm making
are you
notes.
are you following me?
Yep. I'm tracking,
So
making notes here.
so sweet
Comebacks.
sweet little Aubrey. What we walk up, and she's now there's 6 kids but 2 adults plus Aubrey, her cousin, and her best friend. So there's like, what is that? 6 plus 2 is 8 plus 3. That's 11. So now there's 11 of us. You like that quick math? And she goes up to who is probably like her uncle or something. And she's like, so I've got my friends here. And he's like, do they have tickets? And I'm like, oh, yeah. We bought tickets. Like we're not like here to milk everything. And then they just give us VIP tickets, send us on our merry way. Dad, we were at the front of the line, and
Oh, wow.
literally by the time we start this whole shindig, I bet that line was like an hour and a half wait at this point. So, and then by the time we're leaving, it's probably like a 2-hour wait. So I told Reese, I said, Reese, way to go. Way to make a good friend. Like, this is awesome. And she was the nicest kid. Reese kept going, Aubrey, are you scared? Are you scared? And I go, Reese, this is like her life. Like, she sees this in the daytime when there's nothing here but the setup. Like, her
Mm-hmm.
whole family lives. This is a huge farm that they've converted into this experience. But there's like 5 houses on the property that is her family, I think, that lives there. So it was great. Dad, so I think I'm gonna sit at the bonfire, right? Well, all of a sudden they're pushing me into this line. And remember, there's no wait. So I don't know
Yeah.
what's happening because there's no line really. They're just pushing me in. And then they're like, go up these steps. I'm like, what's happening? They're like, we're doing the hayride. I'm like, no. I don't want to do the hayride. I'm good. And Jess is like, come on, just come on. Well, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. And I just looked at her. I was like, I really don't want to do this. So all the girls and Reese is like, Mom, please come. I'm so scared. Like, please come. So I get on the hayride, and it's our group, and then there's a couple other people in the back, and then there's like a group of like 5 teenage boys. So we
Mm-hmm.
get in the little hay, and I look at this kid. He's probably 14, and I like tap him. I'm like, so I'm on the outside of the wagon because I'm the
Yep.
last one to load on. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, hey, you should sit out here, switch
Yeah.
spots with me. And he's like, what? I'm like, you're going to have a much better time. Like, let me sit where you are. You come over here. And he's like, oh no, oh no. And so Jess is literally got her legs wrapped around me and I'm like holding on to her. It was incredible. Like, incredible. It was worth every penny and then some. I mean, I was scared. I was so scared, but it was their attention to detail. And like I said, this hayride went on, Dad, for like 30 minutes. Like, I
Wow.
thought we'd be done. And it's like, no, now we're into the next section. It was wild. And I'm just like, I'm scanning the whole time. I'm scanning the perimeter. If we'd go around this bend and there'd be like bushes, and I'm like, they're going to be in those bushes. So I was constantly just scanning and waiting. And I mean, I still got scared, but it was great. Reese was scared. Reese and Cena wouldn't even do the last event. They wouldn't go, and Cena didn't even want to go into the corn maze. Jess and I had to force her. She's like holding on to us. Reese was with her buddies, and then we got to the motel, and Cena's like, I'm not doing it. You can't make me. I'm not doing it. And being, Reese being Reese, she's like, I'm not leaving my best friend. So we stayed out while the rest of the girls went through. And Jess even told me, she goes, that's the scariest part. The hotel, the motel. She's like, that's the scariest part. So I didn't have to do that. But we had a great time. And I posted a reel. I didn't post it on the 2 Clicks site, but I posted it on my Instagram. Did you see it? A reel of the pictures?
No.
They had like,
I haven't looked today. Yeah.
You'll have to look. I have before you start it, they have these sections for taking professional photos.
Right.
So they had 2 different scenes and the girls all did it. And then Jess and I did it. It was like $25 to get all the photos digitally. So I was like, yeah, I'll buy them, and then we shared them out or whatever. But oh my God, Dad, it was good. It was really good. But I told Reese, she said, have you done anything like this before? And I said, well, we had, Terror on Church Street, which was downtown Orlando. And I said, I did that a couple of times, but one time I was so scared, I almost got hit by a car because I ran out into the street. So I told her while we're standing there, I said, the worst thing you can do is show these people you're scared. You have to act completely indifferent. And they still can pick you out. They were still picking me out on that hayride. Like, I was like, trying to just be calm. And they still were like, and they just know. They know the people that are scared. So I told her about Terror on Church Street, but I forgot that you were there.
Yeah, I just remember us getting down there, had that elevator, going up and going down and that. And I just remember, well, with as many people that were down there, I'm surprised that there was traffic. But yeah, you just got to the bottom of that daggone thing and the door was right there and off you go and you ran out.
Yeah.
And then the next thing we don't know is where you are, other than you just about got hit by a car. So that was crazy. But that thing scared the shit out of everybody. I mean, they were very good at that. Yeah, that was.
Well, the scariest part, in my opinion, on Terror on Church Street, like all these things, there's always a line to get started. So that's where the anticipation builds. And that's where, for me, at that place specifically, I got so scared as we were waiting in that line because they're all walking around. They being all the people dressed up. And they would
checking with you. Yep.
They were watching you. And then those people would follow you in. And they would find you once you were inside. And that was the guy. It was one of those guys that was tracking me on the outside. And I was like, I kept trying to walk away. And then when we came out, he found me and I ran from him and I ran into like oncoming traffic because I was so scared. Oh, I hated it. I hated it.
Funny.
So Parker wanted to go that night. And I was like, you're not going. I'm like, no. You're not going. He was all upset. Why can't I go? Reese gets to go. I said, first of all, Reese is going with her friends. Like, it's a thing for her and her friends. And I said, I don't think you can handle it. He would have been scared shitless. There's no way.
Oh, Lordy, that's funny.
So it was good. It was good.
I was on a couple of days on the workout. It was just kind of an aerobic day. So I was on the treadmill and in the gym, I'd be listening. I'd go back I like to always go back and listen to some of the earlier podcasts. But anyway, I was kind of in the more recent things, and there was just a couple of back to back that just had me chuckling through the whole workout. And people, I think, thought I was a little. Well, I was laughing out loud as the, as the
LOL. LOL.
yep, yep. So and trying to do what I was doing on the treadmill where I'd get distracted and, and I'd be out of step or just about fall off or this or that. But it was so freaking funny. But anyhow, everybody was wondering what the heck was going on with me. I know, but that was a lot of fun. And I just it when you just added your 5 plus 2 or your 6 plus 2 plus 3 and came up with 11, there was
Was
there
that
was
wrong?
no, you were right there, but there was on one of the other ones you were adding, and
Oh,
and
yeah.
the answer was 9, and you said 8. So that I just broke out. I broke out laughing there on your math skills, and so that's been very pleasurable because it makes the hour at the gym just fly by, fly by.
That's
But
great.
that was ongoing and just funny as heck. I don't know. The other thing that we had to rent a car the first five or the first week we were there Monday through Monday. So we actually ventured north to a Todos Santos, which is about an hour's drive away, and got into more outside of Cabo and into more of the remote coastline, which was a lot of fun, and met up with Frank Spar, who's Frank from Malibu.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
We had dinner, had mid-afternoon touring his new
Malibu
home,
boats. We're talking about Malibu
Malibu
boats.
boats.
But yeah,
Yep. So
yeah.
he was there, and we got to visit with him and see his new house under construction, and
Is he
right
living
there on
there
the
full
beach.
time?
He's had a house there for 12 years, and then he's been down full time about 8.
Oh, wow.
So
And Frank is
he's
who Clint worked for, right there at Water Ski America?
well,
Or
Frank
no?
and Tim, the brothers.
Mm.
Frank's brother was Tim. Tim was really the owner. Frank was just working there with him. And
Okay. Okay.
anyway, has since retired, and since then he and Rebecca live full time in Cabo.
Good
So
for them. Selling flip
yep.
flops or not?
No, he's got his real estate license. He actually bought a big fishing boat in the first few years and did very well having it run on fishing, and had it leased back through Pisces Fishing. So that's been a big money maker for him. But he's now
Yeah.
working as got his real estate broker's license and selling real estate, and just in a really cool area in between Cabo and Todos Santos called the Palms. But
Nice.
it was cool. Right on a surf break. He's a big surfer
Oh,
through
yeah.
this day. Yep. So that was a lot
Yeah.
of fun and good
So,
times.
what? So, and you obviously went to Sammy's birthday bash, right? At Cabo Wabo or no?
We did not go to the bash. We just got to visit everybody through the week, and I said there's no need to go down there. So I was fine with that.
Wow. Did you hear any other good music?
We went into Cabo Wabo on an off night, in between or ahead of the first show, which was on the 11th. But there's always a good band and good music down there for that. So we were down there for that.
Okay.
Got out on the water on a boat sunset cruise, which is always good music there as well. Obviously not live, but you don't really see a lot of live music other than at Cabo Wabo.
Yeah.
So,
All right.
but they had
I'm ready for
guests.
I'm ready for my next concert. I got to see what I'm going to get to.
Oh, yes, you do.
Yeah.
Did you see I shared that. Did I show you where Sammy was going to
Yeah.
induct Foreigner at yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And you know what was funny is I was listening to my Sirius Classic Rewind, and they were talking about Foreigner finally being inducted
Yep.
into the Hall of Fame. So that was cool to hear. And and then literally a couple days later, you posted that thing about Sammy going to go there for that. So that's awesome. That's great.
Yeah, he had a busy week. He did his show on the 11th. Of course, they were in Vegas prior to that doing the celebrating their birthday. Came in on
Right.
the 11th, did the show. Then the next day he went. 11th was Friday. Then he moved Saturday. He was auctioning off his EV Ferrari.
Oh, wow.
He was finally letting it go, which
Like
went
an
for I
electric
think
vehicle Ferrari?
It's hybrid electric vehicle. Yep. But
I didn't
it
even
went
know
from,
they did that.
I didn't either.
Wow.
$4.6 million it brought.
Shut up.
Yep.
Well,
4.6.
let me tell you something. I got a hockey mom friend who just
Yeah.
recently got herself into an EV vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
Complete shit show of an experience.
Oh,
Goes
I
to
don't
the
doubt it.
go to this goes, she's driving out, fucking New Jersey for a hockey game or whatever, and pulls into what's supposed to be a charging station, pretty much dead, and their charging station is done, but that was like the closest one within miles. So she's like looking for another place. Completely stressful. I mean, just she's telling me this story, and I'm like, I could never own one of these vehicles. Like, I could never do it. So she's texting her sales guy, like that who she used to buy the car, like, get me out of this car. I don't want this car anymore. I just told her, I'm like, I can't. I go, I'll never, after hearing that, I was like, I will never in my life, never buy an electric vehicle. Like, if someone
Yep.
gave me one for free, I'd give it back. No way, Jose.
Yeah, it's a commitment for sure.
I don't want it.
Hey, I
Don't
voted today.
already.
Yeah, early voting opened on the 16th, so
I like to vote
got that
on
done
voting
today.
day. I walk up to our little local spot, never have a line. It's lovely. I do my little thing. I like to do it on voting day.
I would do it if the line, I mean, the line was not, well, parking lot was totally full. I mean, it was overflowing, but
We
it
are
only took
we are
15
very
minutes.
fortunate for whatever reason. Like, well, granted, I work from home, so I can go at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
I've never in my life since I've lived in media waited to vote. Never.
Well, that's the way I was spoiled out at the lake. You didn't have to wait either. You could go and
Right,
nobody
Mount
be
Vernon,
there.
similar
Yeah.
situation. But I will be voting. Well, good job, Dad. You did your civic duty. Where is your sticker? I voted. You didn't get one?
I put it on my hat and it fell off before I made it
Mm,
home.
mm.
Suzanne and I went after she got out of school.
All
So,
right. Well, I do hope to see you then in Thanksgiving. I mean, it would be a
yeah,
shame for
I
you to
mean,
be this close and not see me. So,
yep, we're flying into Salisbury on it's kind of a weird deal. We're going to be
they're in
at Fort
Maryland?
Yep,
What airport is that?
Salisbury Airport.
Okay, keep going.
I've flown in there a couple times, not very
What
often, but a
airline is it?
couple. American.
Hmm.
So we're going down to Fort Walton for November, December again this year.
Oh, are
So
you in the coach?
we'll be in Fort Walton. So we're going to fly from Pensacola up to Salisbury, and we'll come in on Wednesday morning and be there. I'll be there Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I don't go back until Tuesday.
Well, then
So
come
I'll be
over.
there, but Suzanne's got to go back on. She's going to go back on Saturday because she's got to be back for school on Monday. And Sunday flights are just kind of stupidly priced.
Oh,
So
well,
so she's going to go back Saturday morning, so she won't be there. But I mean, I would think we could get there or at least get up there. I don't know
yeah.
who's going to be there. Well, I know Mom's coming down or coming up there for the
Yeah.
month as well. So
Well,
anyway, yeah, we'll get that figured out.
we'll get that figured out. That would be lovely.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to let you know, I did talk to Shane before we got on today because I just have to tell you this. I asked him, I said, hey, answer this for me. When I moved to media for the first time and we were living in the Velasco house together, so you had to move out, where did you move? And he said, well, I moved in with Dad and Shelly for a little while before he then moved to Northbridge Apartments with Lawton after Lawton got divorced. And I was like, that's right. So I figured that out. And he said, though, that when he moved out, you and Shelly had not yet separated. So just file that in your memory bank. Because I said, we couldn't, Dad couldn't remember and I couldn't either. And so I just wanted to know. So I just wanted to let you know that. Answer that question for us.
Well, that makes sense because I do remember Shane and I'm not sure who he was working for at that time, but could have been when he was working at Red Lobster. I don't know. He was always cooking. I do remember him always cooking in the kitchen. He was always. Remember he had that big stir fry pot, and he was
Yeah.
always trying to.
They
Then
call
it
that
then
a
it dis
they call that a
then it
wok.
didn't it disappear on him on the wok on the oven top wok. I think it got
Jacked.
misplaced or something.
His
Anyway,
wok got jacked. I don't know. I
yeah.
don't remember
Well,
that.
Anyway, we lost the wok too in the move, but
Walk, walk, walk. Womp,
they're
womp, womp.
popular.
Well, so I said I'm headed to Dallas on Wednesday. It's a quick turnaround trip this time. I am gonna reach out to Holly to see if she can meet Thursday because I'm so excited. I'm having dinner with Kevin G on Wednesday night.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah,
Well,
super
that's
excited.
a shame you're going this Wednesday and not next Wednesday because
Why?
we would all be there next week. We're going to be in Dallas next week.
Who's we?
Me, Shane.
Oh,
On We go to Austin on the weekend to go to Nathan Sanchez, my employee, got married in Hawaii a month or so back, and so they're
he's having
having
a
a
little party.
reception party. So we're going to do that on Saturday. I'm sorry, Sunday evening. And Haley's coming down for that. That's the first time
Oh,
she, I
nice.
believe, has been to Austin. And so, yeah, we've got that going on. Then we go back to Dallas on Monday for our quarterly
Meeting.
meeting, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And then I'm going to hang around on Thursday and hang out with Kels for Thursday and Friday. And then more than likely fly back here on Saturday is my game plan.
Man, you got a busy, busy life, Dad. A lot of travel.
I know. Well, it's been very relaxing up until, I've sat in this house for a year and we've not traveled all that much except for
I guess.
Cabo and then going back to see you guys, but we haven't done anything
Are
extensive
you?
that much in the bus this year. We've stayed pretty much close to home.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I got to
we
figure
had
out when
we
I'm going to come to Nashville. I do want to get out there. I mean, the kids really want to come because they want to get on the boat. So I think this summer I'll plan a trip to get out there. I mean, obviously that's a ways away, but
yeah. Well, it's when we started talking about it last year. So
yeah, we'll get that figured out. Well, we spent a lot of time catching up tonight because it's
we
been a
did.
while. Man.
Oh,
Oh, what
and
else?
well, I had I've been doing my book, my book
Oh, fill me in.
segues. So
Is that
we
what you're
got
calling
through.
it? Wait, is that what you're calling the book? Segways?
No, it's called. Well, it's called My Story. But anyway, we haven't really given the book a title. I keep trying to think what the book is to be titled, but that won't happen until we actually get the actual chapters and everything pulled together and read. But so it's really just kind of every week going through an hour long storytelling session of trying to just tell them remarkable stories, just like we do on the podcast. On the podcast.
We're so remarkable.
So
Yeah.
yeah. So anyway, that's been fun, and I before leaving on the trip on that Thursday, we pulled out on Saturday. I'd gone through and trying to get through my college years and did a pretty good job of catching them up on anything and everything. But I remembered after hanging up, I forgot to tell them the story of me hitchhiking home
Oh, tell me.
from
I
Blacksburg to Virginia to Williamsburg,
It's been a while since I've
which,
heard this, so remind me of this story.
well, yeah. So the story is just for whatever reason, you had the opportunity to get home by either, and I did not have a car. So they would advertise on a bulletin board with the little pull stubs of people that
Yeah.
might be going back home to Richmond or going back home to Roanoke, or, you could try to catch a ride for helping fund gas money. So that was one option, which I didn't really think was too adventurous. So I decided to just go ahead and pack up, throw a backpack on. It was one of those
I
mountain wireframe backpacks,
Oh, for
that
real?
just,
Wait, wait, wait,
oh
wait.
yeah.
But did you already own the backpack or did you buy the backpack to hitchhike?
That is a good question. I have a feeling that I already owned it, but I took it to college. I'm pretty sure I had it.
Here's what I picture you. Remember Pee Wee Herman when he goes Pee Wee's Great Adventure and he's got the
Yep.
stick and it's got the bag tied and it's like red with white.
Like a hobo. If everybody, yeah. No, but that's kind of what it felt like. But yeah, I've dressed the part. I looked like I'd been on the road for 2 weeks. You know,
What kind of shoes were you wearing?
I'm sure I had sneakers on.
But you don't remember what kind?
No, I
I'm
would
just curious.
not. They would have.
Do you think
Chuck Converse maybe?
I was gonna say
Chuck
Converse.
Taylors.
I was gonna say Converse. Do you think you looked like a hippie?
Oh yeah.
Oh, for real? Okay.
Yeah.
Were you still wearing glasses at the time?
Oh, I had to wear glasses all the time at that time. Yeah. So I
When
still had my wireframe glasses.
Long blonde hair.
Long blonde hair. Hair's probably as long as it's ever been. Well, that's not true. It was longer when Joe and I were talking about that when we had just started the company. Everybody thought
when you had your mullet. You had a mullet, Dad.
We had our long blonde hair, you know, party in the front or long in the back and party or business in the front, party in the back.
It's called a mullet. Keep going.
Yes, I know. But anyway, I just decided to take off on a trip to get home for the weekend and didn't really know other than to just kind of look the part and had never hitchhiked other than between my senior year graduation and my freshman year of college going to New Mexico, working on the reservation that summer. We would always hitchhike from the reservation into a town to shoot pool, drink a couple beers, and just listen to a jukebox.
Time out. You were working on an Indian reservation?
For the summer, for a period of the summer.
Did this have
not the entire summer.
Did this have anything to do with Uncle Les?
No. Actually, it was just me and a good friend of mine in high school, actually a year behind me, Andy. We decided to go as we were asked to help out a priest while he was filling in for a vacationing priest at a church
in New Mexico.
In New Mexico on the reservation.
So you being so entrenched in the church, you got a free ride out to New Mexico.
Right.
Worked the res. They call it the res, Dad.
Right. Well, we worked it and had a great time working it. So.
Did you? I never knew this. This is great.
You never knew this story? No?
Never knew this story. What was
all right,
so
well, that's for another time.
All
well,
right.
the great part was just how quickly Andy and I got to be accepted by these local, Indians, their families.
Dad, say the tribe. Goers. The tribe.
The tribe. All right, the tribe. And there was a couple families that favored us and just took us under their watch.
What was their tribe? What were they?
Navajo.
Really?
Mm-hmm. The Navajo tribe.
Did you ever tell Uncle Ez about this?
Oh, I'm sure I did.
Sure he did.
I'm sure I did. Yeah.
Wow. All right. So,
but anyway, we were there, met him through them showing up at church on Sundays, and they'd invite us over in the afternoons for dinner and just good freaking food and introduction to the actual homemade, handmade corn tortillas and just, good freaking food.
And good people. Love that.
Good people. Yep. There was two young ladies there that kind of were hard crushed on Andy and I. So we got to hang out with them. So that was the reason we were hitchhiking in town.
To go to the bar.
We went right by their house and could pick them up and then go get a pizza at.
And they were Native Americans?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Long brown hair?
Oh yeah.
Oh, they probably loved your blonde hair. They probably loved it.
I guess
of course. Why wouldn't they?
We'd mount up bareback and they had horses, so we'd go off running in the fields. I'm serious.
Oh my God.
Yep. Put a bridle on and away we'd go. So
you rode bareback on a horse? Well, we will.
I I was much better
You
horseback riding than
you
the time you saw me
you
riding it.
know where
Yep.
we're going with this. We will have
Yep.
to tell the whoa cattle story. Whoa cattle, whoa cattle. Oh my god.
Yep. That was a totally different time frame, and better yet,
Holy shit.
when a saddle is not tied down to a horse, you should know better than to get on it. So there you go.
All right, so
But
you
yeah, it
hit
was a lot of fun.
that was
So we hitched.
hitchhiking to go
Yep.
to into the town, but this trip we're talking about is you hitchhiking from Blacksburg to try to get back to Williamsburg.
Yeah, 5 hour drive.
And
So
was this before you met mom?
oh yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Like
it
your
was
freshman year.
freshman year, my sophomore
Oh,
year,
right.
maybe.
Okay. Okay.
Could have been. It was in the fall, and I don't know that it was. I say it was in the fall. I can't believe I would have left during football season. But in any event, just decided to go and got equipped, got it packed up, and took off and walked off the campus along the road, Stadium Road there next to Lane Stadium. Got out, turned right, and sure enough, before I made that turn, just had my thumb out, and a student picked me up. First
Okay.
ride was with the student, and he was headed to the interchange from Blacksburg to Christiansburg there at Interstate 81. So
Oh
he at
yeah.
least got me to the interstate because he was going south towards Tennessee. I was going north towards Roanoke. So that was the first drop. Got off, I got to the on ramp, and on the on ramp, another student picked me up from the on ramp and took me there to where he exited in Roanoke, actually Salem at that time. So it was a Salem
So
stop.
that was not a long drive then.
No, another 40 minutes and I was
Yeah.
dropped off there, and there was
Yeah.
truck stop, or trucks were entering the highway. And so then the third ride took forever to get picked up on, but it just continued. I was kind of let go down in the bottoms and had to get up I just had to walk a period and a long period to get myself back out on the highway, off the ramp, and down and away to where I think I think it looked more like I was desperate for needing a ride rather than being right there on the on ramp. And out of nowhere, this car finally pulls over, and it pulls over onto
But
the
like,
shoulder, and
do you
it's ahead
literally
of
have
me.
to put your thumb up like you do
Oh yeah, you're
okay,
putting your
like
thumb up.
okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay.
Or, I was walking at that time and just had my thumb up in the air. I wanted people to know that I was at least motivated to make some ground. And this car pulls over, and it was a sedan of some sort. And it was out in front of me. So I go off on a dead run. And I mean, the old adage of hitchhiking is you can go for a dead run and then somebody will pick up and speed off, just to tease you with the
Oh
ride.
no. Oh no.
So I figured that's what was going to happen because he stopped so much farther ahead of me than just pulling, a few feet or a few yards in front of me. So I go off hauling up, and it stayed there. And I walk up to a window, and I look in, and it's a businessman. He's got a tie, he's got a pressed shirt, he's got some slacks. And I said, well, this is kind of strange. So I said, he asked me where I was headed, and I told him my story. And I said, well, where are you headed? And he was headed straight up I-81, returning
Yeah.
home from being in Roanoke. And he was a traveling salesman that sold, I think he went to Ingersoll Rand, which was a big plant there.
Yeah, there.
That's where Bucky used.
I was gonna say that's grandpa worked there, right? Yeah.
Right. That's right. So
Yeah.
he was selling equipment, and anyway, we started talking, and I said, I don't know this. In today's world, I never would have gotten in that car.
Oh,
Number
shit.
one, the age difference. Number two, with just who's got a coat, or better yet, a tie, and dressed nicely. Who does that remind you of?
A serial killer.
And which one?
Bundy, right?
There you go. Yep. So,
But
that
Bundy
that
liked
story,
women, but still, yeah.
yeah. So that story, I didn't know. I mean, that was kind of
Well, that was
before you even. That was late 70s, I believe.
yeah,
when
at Florida State,
anyway.
but yes, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I jump in. Nice guy. We chitted and chatted, and he had a 6-pack
wait.
of beer that he had picked up.
time out. Where was he headed? You said he was heading home. Where was
He was
home?
headed to York, Pennsylvania. He was just straight up
Oh,
81.
so he
Yeah,
was going for a while before you would have to then venture to go south.
exactly.
Basically, he
So
would carry you all of 81.
all the way, all the
Okay.
way. And he was happy to just, share stories, tell stories. He had a 6-pack of beer in the car. We shared that 6-pack of beer and off we go. So we
Amazing.
get up
But
to I-64.
he wasn't weird?
No, no, I wouldn't say weird. I didn't feel any anxiety. I mean, I guess the fact that he was offering me beer should have made me anxious, but but it didn't. So we
Okay.
drank a few beers and off we go. He drops me off. There's a big green area right there at the turn and the on ramp to 64, headed down to Charlottesville.
Yeah.
And I get out of there and I just had to urinate so bad. I had to take a leak, and so I go behind a bush. I ran back to behind a bush and do my business and turn around, and I see this state trooper car parked on the apron, and his lights are on, and he's out of the car and he's spotting me, and I'm probably 50 yards away,
Okay.
and he's waving me over. He said,
Okay.
"Get over here, get over here." And so I walk over there and I say, "Yes, sir." And I number one, I was afraid he was going to smell beer on me. That was my first concern. Number two, he said, "Do you realize you cannot urinate in public?" And I said, "Well, I tried to get behind the bushes." And I said, "Did you see me?" And he said, "Well, of course I saw you. That's why I pulled over." So he kind of gave me a hard time about it. He wanted to see my driver's license. He wanted to figure out who I was. And so he gets back in the car and he asked me to sit in his car. And I said, "Oh, Lord, here we go.
Wow.
And
Okay.
he's just checking things out. And he said, "Well, where are you headed?" And I said, "I'm headed east to see my mother. I'm going to Williamsburg." He said, "Well, that's a pretty far away." And I said, "It is." He said, "Okay." He said, "You're on this off ramp." He said, I'm driving you on down the road." He said, "I'm going to put you down the road back on the highway away from this ramp, where it's heavily trafficked, and get you in a safer zone." And that's exactly what he did. He just took me
Okay.
down the road, said, "Good luck. I'll let you go here." And I jumped out of the car, stuck my thumb out. He was long gone. And sure enough, here comes another car, a young couple. Uh, if I was a hippie, these guys were hippie pros. They were two
Ooh,
young,
I love
young,
it.
two young hippie pros. And I'm trying to remember the car. It was a convertible, and it was just teeny. And I don't know if it might have been a Triumph convertible,
Did they
but I
have the
got
top
stuck.
down?
No, top was up. Top stayed up. We did not have the top down. Top stayed up, and I'm sitting in the back of that thing with my, again, barely me and my backpack fit back there, and off we go. And these guys, they were playing music. They had an 8-track tape in the car, and we were flopping tapes and talking music and just having a big old time. And then they bring out a big old fatty. They start
Yeah.
smoking dope, and that was not in my wheelhouse or in my library of experiences at all. And I didn't partake, but I sat in that car while they smoked from there all the way to Richmond.
So you got
So,
high.
oh well, I guess by yeah. I mean,
Yeah. I mean,
I I just had beer, so number one, I was feeling good. Number
yeah.
two, when I got out of the car in Richmond, I was still feeling good. So that prearranged drop off, they got me from off the highway, and then on 64 continuing towards Williamsburg, and they were running further south. I don't remember where they were going. I think they were headed to Carolina, and then threw out my finger again and thumb up in the air and got one another last ride from that point, which is another 40 miles down to the exit. It was a young kid in a pickup truck, just a high schooler that picked me up and put me in the front seat. And we shared stories and just talked. And that was the fifth ride in the fifth leg, and dropped me off there at the exit. Um, the interstate actually did not go all the way to where it exits for Williamsburg at that
Now,
time. It
right.
exited ahead of time, and just put me there in Toano at a fuel station. And I jumped out, and last leg home was a quarter in the phone booth.
I was gonna say, did you
And
call and say, come get me?
I said, "Mom, it's your son Kevin. I said, I'm close to home. I'm here at Joanno. I've been hitchhiking all day just to come see you. And she came and got me, picked me up, smiled. She wasn't real happy about it, but
I was gonna say, did she know you were gonna do that?
no, I didn't. I told the officer, I said, I'm trying to surprise my mom because she doesn't know I'm coming. And he said, oh, I bet she will be surprised.
Was it like a holiday weekend, or
It
just
was
a long
it was
weekend, right?
it was a long weekend. I was up on the road early that Friday, and I'd already had prearranged. Edmund Green was going home for the weekend. He just couldn't leave when I decided to leave. I didn't have any classes on Friday. So got there and
So you
mom
had to
got me
ride
the rest of the way
back to
home.
Blacksburg.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
I don't know that would have completed the journey, but it took about 7 hours, only an extra couple of hours to
That's
do it
not
by
bad.
coming. Not at all, not at all. I was home. I was home before 4. I want to say that she got me about 3:30 in the afternoon. So
Amazing.
from early morning and away we went and in one piece. Money in my wallet was still there,
Wow.
and a couple beers and a couple happy hours and good new acquaintances. I wished I could remember their names, but obviously I can't. But just a fun little gig.
That's
So
awesome. You never did it after that, did you?
not that I remember. I've run out of gas before and had to hitchhike. So
Oh yeah, I run out of
you
gas
know
twice.
I've done it more often than that.
Oh, have you? That's surprising.
Which is unusual to think
I was gonna
about.
say that surprises me.
That diesel pickup of truck of mine, I think I've run out of that. I think I've run out of that at least 5 to 6 times in that vehicle.
Wow.
Anytime I was pulling a trailer, I just could not judge how much fuel
How much
and
you
the
had
gauge was
left?
not very, yeah, the gauge was
Yeah.
not very accurate. So,
Yeah. Mm. All right. Well, you know what? We're not gonna. That was good. We're gonna just leave it at that then for tonight.
okay.
Well, I mean,
All righty.
we're already an hour and 10 in, basically. So
Well, that's good with me. I do want to say that just in listening to the podcast, just how much more what's the right word? Maybe experienced, or the calmer we are, or the more cohesive it has become. But I'm telling you, I'm surprised we don't get in talking about feedback and wanting feedback. But as hard as I laughed in that gym all last week,
I was.
I was fact checking this and fact checking that, and all the promises of how we were going to catch up with pictures here or the story there, and we
I've
dropped the
been
ball.
trying. I do like. I'll hit a remembrance of. Oh, I said I was going to drop this picture. What was funny is um I'd posted that reel of the awkward years, and for whatever reason, Carl Borelli had not seen those. And
Mm.
Jess was like, "You didn't see the," and even Mom was like, "Oh, I was impressed that she actually posted these pictures." And I was like, "Well, I mean," I just told her, I was like, "I mean, I think I turned out all right. So I mean, it is what it is, you know." But
Yep.
so I was
Yep.
showing Carl these pictures of me from like end of elementary school and middle school, and he was like, that is not you." And I'm like, "Oh yes, buddy, that is me." That is I, my friend. But
Yeah,
yeah,
no one
I
would
am trying to be
guess.
better
Knowing you
about that.
today,
Trying to be better
it'd be
about
totally
that.
different. Yeah.
Yeah. But we will uh, this is episode 14 that we're wrapping up right
Mm-hmm.
now. So we'll hit on next
13 drops
episode.
tomorrow, right?
Yeah, it does. And we'll hit 15 will be me moving back to Dallas with Chris in tow
Okay.
for, those years, which were some, I'm going to use the word tumultuous years.
Hmm. What year?
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to put the years together. So, yes.
I will tell you this. We're going to have to come up with a name for your third wife, because I really don't want to use her actual name. So we'll have to come up with what name we're going to use for that. Those were that era.
Mm. She hit us up with a message in Cabo that Ebby finally passed away.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I loved that dog.
Mm-hmm.
She was a good dog.
She
Labradoodle.
was.
A
She's on about
Labradoodle before
15.
Labradoodles got popular, I mean,
Yep.
you guys were on the break of that. Good dog.
Yeah, I'll never forget the trainer telling me I had $1 million dog, and I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Well, everybody would give $1 million for her." So
She was a great dog. I would have
she was a
taken that
great dog.
dog. Yeah, I would have taken that dog.
Okay. Um, Takeaways from today? Anything exciting and new other than just catch up? No.
Well, I missed you, so it was good to see your face and proud of you for your diligence in maintaining your health. I'm very impressed, Dad. Very impressed.
Thank you.
And yeah, I don't even know what else to say, but that's awesome. And
Um,
yeah.
I appreciate that. I was pleasantly surprised because I was stressing out the first week big time, and then finally I just said, "Screw it, you need to."
Well,
And,
you
and
do
my
need to
coach said
kind
the
of just
same
like
thing.
let it go, brother.
That's what Dylan said. He said, "Dude, just have a good time and just do the best you can do, and it'll all work out." So
It,
it did.
it's about the what do they say? You're running a marathon, not a sprint, right? So it's about
Hmm.
changing your overall. Like this past week, I've been not great, and but I'm also at a point where I'm like, it's time to flip that switch again before it hits into the point of where you go too far. Got to get
Yep.
back into the good habits.
My last Cabo comment, and we'll close, is just that they were having the big Bisbee fishing tournament. So it's a
Oh,
three week deal. So we got down there. It was week number two, or the first week was first week. Then the second week was week number two. The third week's going on this week. They fish Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and it's so cool. From the resort, they get all the boats out in the Sea of Cortez, right there outside the harbor from the marina,
yeah,
and there's just hundreds of boats. And then they have a kind of like a cannon flare, or off a flare gun as a
right.
start point right at 7 a.m. And then it's just perfectly quiet. And then as soon as that thing goes up in the air, it's just a roar of just thunder. I mean, just the engines kicking up and off
To
they go.
go out.
But the we had heard on the second week it was kind of the medium sized billfish, and somebody caught a 300 and I think 60-pound marlin was the
Wow.
was the was the winning fish. On my flight back Saturday, I was talking to two fishermen that actually fished the tournament, and they showed me their pictures of a marlin that was like 240 pounds,
Wow.
and that thing was huge.
Huge.
The 300-pound prize money was $1.1 million
Hmm.
for catching that fish. So this week it's the big black and blue. This is the top week, and I know last year the winner was like 2.3 million.
Wow.
So big money.
What do
Big
they
money in
fit?
that
What
tournament.
are they fishing the same fish at the next tournament? Marlin or
Um,
whatever.
it's different sizes and categories. I mean, yeah, the black and blue is just the biggest, but they have the first week, I think it's more designated, and they have different categories that are separated. A billfish category, a dorado category, just
Got
there's
it.
different categories. But the big money is round week 2 and 3. So
Mm,
it is always so cool to get out there on the water. And on the trips that we did, you
yeah.
could see they had the baby stingrays, and how
Yeah.
they jump up out of the water and try to fly a period of they'll get airborne for like 6
Oh,
feet.
that's cool.
And they look like butterflies. It's so cool.
That's cool.
But anyway, well, good catching up. Good seeing you. Well,
Yeah.
looking forward to getting back on track here. And it was a total day of catch up. It was a little bit of a ass whip
Ass whip. Well,
today.
glad you're
Hmm.
home.
Yep. Safely.
Yes, of course. I'll see you. I'm glad you voted. Good job.
Yes. Done.
And I'll talk to you very soon.
Yep. Okay, honey. Have a good
All right.
night.
I love you, Daddy.
Love you, honey.
Bye. Thank you for tuning in today. With so many podcasts out there, we are grateful you chose to spend your time with us.
And we'd love to hear from you. So send us your questions, comments, and feedback to info@twoclicksinapod.com, and we might feature your message in a future episode.
Also, don't forget to follow us on social and head over to our YouTube channel where you can watch the full episode live and in living color. You can find us at 2 Clicks in a Pod. That's 2, as in the number, clicks in a pod.
Well, James, until next time, love you.
Love you too, Daddy.